Yeah.
finally, imagine you're speaking to someone who feels like their life's at the lowest point. So let's say like, I don't know, an 18-year-old guy with no purpose, no direction in life, just feels like life is meaningless, like they're nihilistic. What advice would you give them? If you could tell them anything, any message, what would you say to them?
I've been there, right? In that kind of black pilled space.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, every choice you make is fairly arbitrary. But you got to pick a thing. If you're not going to pick a thing, it's like this piss or get off the pot kind of thing, right? As a person who came from that place, the only way that I made it out was picking a thing and then pursuing that thing in a very deliberate and consistent way. And that's the only way out. Um, Life is an opportunity that you don't know if you'll ever get again. Now, you keep trying at the thing. Find the thing. What is a thing that you think is worth it? There has to be a thing. If you say that there's no thing that's worth living, more than likely you haven't been paying attention, right? And it also depends on the age of that person, right? So, for example, if you are 70 years old and you're in that black pill space, I wouldn't tell you that because obviously you've been through more than I have. Number one, and also all of your best years for the most part are more than likely behind you. But if let's say you're in your 20s, you can't stay in that black pill space. You haven't lived long enough. You haven't earned that. You can't say for sure that that's even the case. What if you're wrong? Right? So I start with what if you're wrong? So for me being in that black pill space, if I would have decided nothing is worth it and I would have checked out, self-deleted, there would all the people who I've helped today, they probably would have never received the help. I would have been doing all those people a disservice. I would have been throwing all those people under the bus. And all the people in the future who I haven't met and helped yet, all of them under the bus. I would have never made any of the videos that I put out. I would have never done any of those live streams. I would have never written any of those plans. For all the people who I've pulled from the brink in my life through my mentorship and coaching, and just even being friends with people, right? And I've helped plenty of people who are like, look, I don't have any money. I'm in a really bad situation. I can't afford coaching. And I'm like, let's get on a call, right? But if I would have wrote myself off, that would have come at their expense. Now, I didn't know who they were at the time, and I didn't know that I would be doing what I'm doing now at the time. I didn't know. The question is the way that you feel now, you're in that black pill space. What if you're wrong? It's not just you who's on the line, it's everyone else. So there's a lot of other people who could be collateral damage because of you giving up on yourself. Your life is not just about you. So, like a big part of spirituality is the integration of every person and their connection to another person. We don't live in a vacuum. We don't. It's only through the lens of the ego that we think we live in isolation, but we don't. We may perceive life like that, but we don't. Right?
Mm.
When you open your mouth and someone else hears those words, you're connected to that person. Right? When you go to the store, you buy food for yourself. You're putting food on the table for somebody else. Right? So even like doing this podcast right now, you didn't know me, I didn't know you. And I did what I usually do in a vacuum. Doesn't really matter who's listening or not. I put that content out anyway. And you heard it, you took an interest in it, you reached out. And now we're doing this. We're connected now. Right? We've always been in it together. We just didn't know each other. Now we know each other. Right? So now that connection is official. Other people are now going to hear that because you facilitated the ability for other people to hear a very important message that's going to change their life. You're pulling people off the ledge that you will never meet in your life. You didn't even know. That's how connected we are. You will never know just how connected you are to everyone around you. You'll never know.
Mm.
And it's humbling. So you can't definitively say, oh, I'm black pill and none of it matters. You don't know enough to say that. But you have the opportunity to do your best, and that's worth it.
Mm. Yeah, that's a beautiful message, and I appreciate the compliment, and I appreciate you coming on. And I think if anyone's in that space, I think that message should resonate with them, and hopefully pull them out of that dark hole. Because, like you say, we're so connected. Just because you don't see the lives you're touching, it doesn't mean you're not having that impact.